and there's no real link to any of our institutions at a formal level to get that to happen. Everybody has to reinvent that event. And I think that will be a demonstration of our political advocacy, that actually that ASEAN, when it's putting something together, knows that they should contact this community because it will facilitate their own ambition to have this group. So ASEAN Chamber Orchestra obviously should be something that, or Southeast Asian Chamber Orchestra should be something that we all wish to try and promote and create, connect up actively. I mean, ironically, I think in my own institution, there's greater interest at present in Verbier than there is in the Southeast Asian Chamber Orchestra. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be interest in both, but we need to make that both opportunities are exciting for the right students. So I think that's important. But that would come under here, actually, yeah.
Just add to what Dr. Long just spoke, like also last year we also have a project with Girls Institute in support between Malaysia, Thailand and Singapore, having a contemporary music ensemble between Raffles, Malaysian Conservatory and Thailand, Conservatory University. So I think it might be good that if we can find out what is the transnational project we have among us now. I think that might be good.
Yeah. Yes, to a certain extent it is. As I said, the first thing to do is actually to get a list of everything that's currently going on, know what we can celebrate locally already. Shall we move on to the next one? So curriculum and research, obviously one of the things, just to start this off, the point comes up about quality assurance, peer review, and so on, so it's worth just getting that in. So quality assurance, opportunities for expert peer review. People don't like getting their systems tested by engineers, apparently. Yeah, I mean, I think that's not one in the next 12 months, but that's why I think we've got to be really reasonable about what it's something that could come out of this in the longer term, but it's a very long term because you have to be able to do mapping between institutions and so on. So, research clusters clearly come into here, I think. Yes, absolutely, makes sense. Obviously, discussion about curriculum expectations. The greatest challenge for designing curriculum now is time, because it's not hard to work out what should be in the curriculum, because there's so many things, but how to organize that. So obviously the curriculum discussion, but again, it's about mapping curricula as well. And teaching and learning, just going back to the learning and teaching element, learning and teaching expectations obviously is another thing to have on the list.
We have assessment in there as well.
And assessment criteria and well, that sort of issue. Sorry.
But you do accept the philosophical premises that this is practice-led research, and not
absolutely.
led practice.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think, yeah, is that one where you, so in other words, practice-led research?
In other words, composition is now a manifestation of research in our prior conversation.
Yeah.
A performance or a composition is the outcome.
Is the outcome,
research,
yes, exactly.
right? But the only way around this particular conundrum is to talk about practice-led research.
Yeah, exactly. So practice-led research is what we're really trying to advocate, rather than research as somehow the king of practice. So there's going to be definitely an advocacy element of this, which is how to get contexts that don't believe that to be more supportive of it. So teaching and learning, so we're learning and teaching, we've got, there's a few there actually, okay. Okay, shall we move on? What are we calling this again? Sorry. Creative projects. Thoughts. Sorry. Oh, okay, yeah, fine. So performance, composition, and creativity for now. What's it again? The performance sits in other students and staff. Sorry. Solve that one. Is it celebrating the new? I mean, is it the point of this is to try and get away from the tradition, but to celebrate the new? Would that cover it in terms of projects and everything else? Well, keeping it a little bit distinct so that the practice-led research can be an outcome of it, but this is actually the practice, if you like, but it's trying to give a particular priority to the new. It seems to me that there's, from the conversations over the last few years, there are people in the room who really advocate what is new. And I think that's potentially really exciting. And if we bundle performance into that, I don't think there's going to be the same opportunity for that to be celebrated. So to some extent, looking at these 6 areas was also looking at the people in the room and thinking who could actually be driven towards a topic. So the composers in the room, the people who are looking at contemporary music, the people who are generating new material within their cultural contexts and so on. This is what this is about. This is.
Okay, and maybe I can draw your attention on the composition competition that the Goethe Institute has launched in 2009, every 2 years, 2009 in Malaysia, 2011 in Indonesia, 2013 in Thailand, but always targeting at young composers within Southeast Asia. And the 10 best compositions will be awarded with the prize money, with the international jury from within Southeast Asia. And then the 10 composers will be invited for a 1-week workshop this year to Saraya, Thailand. And we fly in an ensemble for new music from Germany with 8 musicians. And they work with the composers for 1 week. And at the end of the week, they perform 2 concerts with those 10 works in the presence of the composers for Western instruments plus local instruments. And we fly in as well the player for the local instruments, because the German musicians only play the Western instruments. And every 2 years, for the 3rd time this year.
Great. I mean, that's a brilliant example of why I think we need this area, because making sure everyone knows about that, making also there could be ways of connecting up with that. I mean, I know a number of us are flying in ensembles to do contemporary music, but actually sometimes it might be easier if we just join them up and save ourselves a lot of air flights. So that would be, that's exactly the point of this thing, celebrating the new.
We also have Malaysia Composer Series that's already in the 4th year.
Right.
So the next event is going to be in November this year. So well, basically that opens up opportunities for people to send in their compositions and to be performed by student ensemble.
Sure. But that's again why this group I think could be really exciting, because at present what I see is a lot of this stuff is getting done, pieces get one performance and no one begins to see much of it afterwards. Whereas even if we're a depository for some winning pieces that could then be looked at. I mean, we run, for example, a new music ensemble that plays works from Southeast Asia in every concert. It's extremely difficult to find the works at present. So actually, if we can get people setting up sites that allow us the connections, I think would be really valuable.
Maybe in this case, like the publication, for example.
And publication for
Publications.
yeah, and dissemination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Publications of the pieces.
So I'm proposing celebrating the new. Is anyone wanting to explore it slightly differently? Or should we go with that instead of whatever's up there? Composition and creativity. And obviously there's new technologies as well as new outputs, so it's about that goes forward. So publication, distribution, dissemination of information. Other texts we can throw in there, please.
Should we consider the objectives of SEADOM establishment together? Then we can the objectives of the SEADOM establishment together. Let's come back to study the objectives of.
Come back to the objectives.
Make clear then what's the area that we are
Yes,
focusing on.
it's a relevant point actually. I mean, the objectives obviously link back to some of this. So can we just go back to the other? Yes. So obviously this one links very definitely to the richness of diversity in the region in the current time, for example. To a certain extent, that was the exercise that led to some of the titles. So hopefully you can see how they fit in directly there. It's good to keep coming back to them though. So that really helps. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right.
I think we should include performances.
Oh, of course. Yes. So performances of new work. And it's not just information that gets disseminated, but also repertoire and approaches to creativity. So, for example, this could be more on the improvisatory side, but it's actually it's getting that shared and celebrated. Okay, shall we move on to composition? Communication, I mean, sorry. So I dropped some of these in. I ended up back with communication, but dropped some of these in from the original notes just to get started on it.
Facebook?
Sorry?
Facebook?
Facebook. Okay, Facebook. I keep on trying to avoid it. Social media, there we are. Let's not promote one multi-billion-dollar company.
Excuse me, I was actually waiting for this topic to come when we're talking about creating an archive of vocal pieces. I think maybe Facebook would be enough.
Is it maybe worthwhile thinking about creating an archive or website where any results of any work we're doing together would be presented in a clear form? I think Facebook will happen by itself anyway, is already happening. I think maybe to think about organizing things really well from the start. We're talking about this yesterday with Justin from SAL. So any performance, composition, any work that's being done could be organized.
Well, I mean, in fact, that's why website's the first thing there, because we see very clearly that one of the things SEADOM needs to, that one of the things that we need to have is a clear depository for all of. One of the things we need to have is a clear depository for all of the outcomes across all of these areas. But at the same time, we need a group that's actually working to give us the site, if you like. And so that dimension is actually looking for people with expertise in this field. So thank you. Yeah.
And I think something that could be related to this, if we go back to the previous composition and creativity topic, would be to maybe think of establishing some kind of festival where those compositions or any cross-cultural performance that's happening could be presented. It might be a bit early to think about this because I know it's a 12-month agenda, but I thought this could be something that we could include, think of creating an ASEAN creativity and music festival at this stage.
I just wonder, I mean, from what I hear, everyone's doing festivals. It's a matter of nobody knowing about everyone doing the festivals.
So maybe
It's about like making sure that everyone knows them. You know, the website itself could have calendars of events, you know, and set up so that the notifications are being sent out. The reason we don't have a Facebook page so far is I was told not to make one until we had a logo, but we weren't going to have a logo until we had people who were going to decide the logo. And so that's why I've been waiting for that.
So this communications group is absolutely vital in terms of the first phase of it. Yeah. But that's the dissemination is going to be absolutely critical in this. And as you say, it's all about the communication of this new work. The other thought in here is actually to do with linking up libraries. It's to do with linking up sources, archival activities or displays or whatever, museums, libraries, that sort of thing. So how do we get these knowledge of what can be shared in the region? Save the paper of the photocopying and get some of this stuff we can connect online and so on. So I would hope that one of the things we can help do through this group is to link up the libraries and so on, I mean, in a meaningful way. So it's dissemination through the site, but it's also trying to access